Hello everyone. We are going to be going over slope-intercept form today. So slope-intercept, we talked a little bit about this yesterday. That is y is equal to mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So for example, number one, we talked about how our slope was used or was found by rise over run. So for number one, I take notice that my slope is positive. Therefore, I have to go up first. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start at this point right here. And I do have to meet up with this one over here. So we go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So I rose 4. And then I ran 1, 2. So even though my slope is 4 over 2, I do have to reduce that. And I'm going to reduce it by seeing what number both of these can be divided by, as well as 4 divided by 2. So I'm actually going to divide both of these by 2. 4 divided by 2, that is 2. 2 divided by 2, that is 1. We need the simplest fraction. We need the simplest form. So 2 over 1, that can still be reduced to 2. So anytime it's over 1, just go ahead and leave it alone. 2 is the same thing as 2 over 1. Our next step would be to go ahead and find the b, aka the y-intercept. So it is the y-intercept. That means I'm going to be looking here where my y-axis is and where my line is crossing it. So in this case, it is crossing it at this point right here. So my b, my y-intercept, that is going to be 1, 2, 3, negative 3. So now I have all the components that I need. I have my m, I have my b. And if I plug them back into my normal equation, or my slope-intercept, that's going to be 2x. Instead of plus b, because my b is negative, I'm just going to say minus 3. And I have my answer. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is a little bit different because we see that this slope is heading downwards. Therefore, this is a negative slope. And when it's a negative slope, for my rise, instead of going up, I'm going to go down. So I'm meeting these 2 points right here. I will be going down 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I will be running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 over 5. Next up is my y-intercept. Here is my y-axis. It is crossing it at, this is 0, 0. We have 1, 2. We can't simplify our slope any further. And so we can now have our equation of 4/5 negative, right? Forgot to put that. Negative 4/5 x minus 2. Super easy, super simple. Let's move on. Our standard form, you've seen it before. You probably forgot about it, but we did it all the time in algebra. So a standard form goes like this. ax plus by is equal to c. So the end game here is to turn your standard form into the slope-intercept form, and we do that by solving for y. So this is our end game. We have to solve for y. There's a couple of steps, and you don't have much space on your paper, but you can just go ahead here, write it in number 7. Our first step is to move our x to the other side. And I do want you guys to write this down. So if we're looking here at number 8, I am going to start by doing that exactly. So I have a positive 5x, which means I'm going to have to subtract 5x from both sides. This, of course, gets canceled. And so now we are left with 2y is equal to, and always, 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 the x that I moved, that whole thing is going to go first. I needed to build my slope. So I'm going to put that first and then drop down the minus 2. Our second step is to divide both sides by the number that y is being multiplied by. So here I see my 2 is being multiplied against my y. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And you're going to do the entire right-hand side. You're going to divide both of those components by 2. So at the end, you should have divided by that number 3 times. Here, here, and here. This cancels. And now we are left with y is equal to negative 5 over 2x minus 2 divided by 2. Our third step is going to be simplify if possible. So while we're here, we have negative 5 over 2x. That can't be simplified. There's no number that can go into 5 and 2 as well. So I'm going to leave that alone, but there's negative 2 divided by 2. We put that. That's going to be a 1. So our answer is y is equal to negative 5 over 2x minus 1. Let's see, let's move on to number 10. So I've copied down the rules again underneath number 9. You don't have to. They're already written up in number 7. Let's start off with number 1. Step number 1 says move your x to the other side. So I'm going to do that. I have plus 3x here, so I'm going to say minus 3x on the left, minus 3x on the right. So this gets canceled. Bringing it down, we have negative y is equal to negative 3x plus 5. Step number 1, we're done with you. Step number 2 says divide both sides by the number that y is being multiplied by. So you guys look at this and you say, well, Ms. B, I don't see a number next to y. You don't see it, but it for sure is there. Anytime we have a negative y, so a negative variable, there is a number there. It's imaginary. Well, it's not imaginary. It's imaginary in your head. But it is a negative 1. Which means in order to get rid of that negative, we have to divide 3 times by negative 1. Negative 1 there, negative 1 there, and negative 1 right there. This gets canceled. We are left with a y equals negative 3 over negative 1x plus 5 divided by negative 1. Step number 2 is completed. Step number 3 is to simplify if possible. Here we have y is equal to negative 3 divided by negative 1. These negatives cancel. So 3 divided by 1 is just 3x. 5 divided by negative 1 changes this into a negative 5. And we have finished, and that is our answer. All right, come to B Lunch Monday through Wednesday if you did not understand these. But that is all for this video. Go ahead and ask me questions when you have time.